What's up, everybody? It's Serenity here. So, as you guys know, Square Enix has just published Mobius Final Fantasy just yesterday, and this is their latest official Final Fantasy game, which has been waited for the last couple of months. They actually did publish. They talked about this game in E3, and a lot of gamers were actually looking forward to play this game. So it's a little game that is actually available in iOS and Android platforms, and it's the classical Japanese type of RPG, which is a turn-based with a twist of elemental tactics kind of embedded into the game. Mobius Final Fantasy, you play the part of Wall, or whatever you decide to name him. He is an amnesiac protagonist, meaning he does not remember where he comes from and why he is in a specific place. He gets tossed into this world called Paramecia. There he is told by a spectral voice, literally named Vox, which means voice in Latin, that one with his name is prophesied to be the hero of light, and you get to choose the name as well, which is cool. So you're supposed to be the savior of the world. As he begins his journey, he quickly discovers that there are others like himself who have also been prophesied as the hero of light, and comes to the conclusion that while all are set to become the savior, only one actually will. So very interesting. Somewhat reluctant and unsure, Wall decides off to fulfill his destiny. So, as talked about it, Mobius Final Fantasy is exceedingly combat centric. So you move across the map from node to node. Every node you move to offers a sequence of battles that you must win before unlocking the next node and moving ahead. Achieving victory at times will progress the game's story for you, so the decisions that you make kind of affect the gameplay. You can teleport to large nodes, which makes things easier when you have to backtrack or want to train or need certain key items required for unlocking specific nodes. A couple of the notable features in Mobius Final Fantasy are the elements of jobs. So this is where tactics come into play. There are 6 opposing elements. So there's fire, water, wind, and earth, which are the classical Japanese elements. And the rarest are light and shadow, which have actually been incorporated. So, as anyone familiar with RPGs can probably tell, the elements are paired off, much like in Final Fantasy X, where each element is strong against its opposite. It has a fire attack deals more damage to a water enemy, and the water attack will deal more damage to a fire enemy as an example, right? Each job your character can assume can use only 3 of the available elements. For example, a fighter can use fire, water, and earth, whereas a mage can use fire, water, and wind. So switching around your job, depending on the enemy types you'll be facing in any particular node, is the basic strategy. So each job can equip up to 4 ability cards. The combined level of the ability card determines the level of that job. The controls in combat are fairly straightforward. You have an enemy selected, and tapping the screen will execute a basic physical attack. Every time you hit an enemy with a physical attack, they release element spheres that can be used to execute the special attacks of your character's equipped ability cards. So special attacks are not only element based, for more effective or less effective. If you've chosen poorly, for example, the attacks will it will attack, but it will largely weaken an enemy's break gauge against physical attacks. So fully depleting an enemy's break will break them, briefly knocking them off balance to where your attacks will do bonus damage. So that's how you go actually up and down in the score of the website as well. It actually creates like a they have a database where they track the points of every player, and you know, you can connect stats and you can actually rank based on these. So you can also use auto attack as well to kill the mobs, but obviously that will give you the minimal points available, so you always want to get engaged and use your special attacks and maximize your bonus points as much as possible. Some enemies can only be effectively damaged when they're broken actually. So some of the bosses, for example, you cannot kill them unless you break them. There's a lot more details in the type of ability cards and items and whatnot, but that's a very basic overview of the game. One thing that does bear mentioning is that the game looks absolutely stunning. The graphics are amazing. There's actually a standard and high quality version depending on your graphics preferences as well. Looking at the gameplay, as you can see that what you see is what you get. I was personally expecting a more pre-rendered cutscenes, but everything is in it. You know, engine and everything is just really pretty, really beautiful game. I really enjoy playing it. But as we have often learned, pretty does not necessarily make a good game, but this one is actually a good game as well. It's a fun little game that you actually gets you engaged, and they incorporated the cards and the job system and all the classical elements of the RPG games that are in it. On top of that, you got the amazing, stunning Square Enix quality graphics. So yes, for me, this game is definitely has done it. It's a little game that you can enjoy playing when you have a little bit of time. So I recommend it if you want to try something different. So strip away the gorgeous graphics. And the game is actually not that different from Final Fantasy Record Keeper. The game has a very casual play to kill time feel into it, and while the element-based tactics do keep you on your toes, overall it can feel a little sometimes a little bit, but this does not necessarily mean something bad. You know, if you can get through them, actually killing monsters is quite fun. So if you're looking for a classic, deep, plot-heavy RPG, this game help you a little bit. It's a casual, engaging, and very pretty combat game. I would definitely give it a try. The game is also free to play as well, which means there's a stamina system that limits how much you can play, as well as the drawing, leveling, and merging of the cards. But obviously it's an item-all game, so you know it will require you to invest a certain amount of money and time on the game if you want to level up. While being categorized as an RPG, the game is rather light on the story elements. So this may be because the game was just released, and you know, Square Enix maybe plans to continue to add the story in the future updates. But as it stands, it makes the game in its current state kind of a little bit away from the storyline. So if you're used to playing the other Final Fantasy games, even Final Fantasy XIV, which is the MMORPG version, you will miss that storyline a little bit. But as a person like me, which is so into Final Fantasy series, and as you guys maybe know, my favorite gaming company is Square actually. So I do love most of their products, and I did love this game also as well. So maybe I'm a little bit biased right there, but I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it as well. Anyone I talk to, you know, either gamer or casuals as well, everybody told me that they actually did enjoy this little game. I didn't get any negative feedback from the game at all, which is something positive. So it means that there is a basic consensus among gamers that this is a cute little game to play. So when you think about grand Japanese role-playing game experiences, you tend to think of console games such as the recently released Tokyo Mirage Sessions of FE and Star Ocean, Integrity and Faithlessness. But over the past few months, we've seen a handful of larger releases for mobile. Most notably, Square Enix's Kingdom of Hearts Unchained 10, and Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and another Mobius Final Fantasy on the way that just came out 2 days ago. All three are RPGs in the traditional sense, but they have been modified to fit the free-to-play model, so popular in the mobile space, and they are tailored to encourage quick, bite-sized play sessions. So literally you can just give a break in between your classes, you know, when you're in the cafeteria, when you're waiting for someone, when you are, you know, on a little coffee break or anything like that. You can just take the game out and play a little bit and just leave it aside. So each one offers different experiences in terms of narrative design, although Unchained 10 and Brave Exvius have similar mechanics, as you know, as if you played it. Especially Unchained 10 is a prequel to the events of the Kingdom of Hearts series and allows players to create a custom character who then travels to various Disney worlds to battle the enemy Heartless. So if you want, I've also done a video about it a few days ago, so you can go ahead and check that out from my YouTube channel. For Brave Exvius features an original story in new Final Fantasy universe, but the game looks to grab the interest of long-time series fans with the inclusion of visions. Characters hailing from previous Final Fantasy games like Cloud, Lightning, Terra, and can be recruited to fight in your party. So this is actually a bonus point, which I really love so much. Especially characters like Cloud, and hopefully they will incorporate Noctis as well from Final Fantasy 15. Lightning, Sarah are my all-time most favorite characters, game characters, not only Final Fantasy but game characters out there, so I'm really excited about it. And also they're using the Final Fantasy elements such as Moogles and Phoenix Downs. Players will recognize these. But yeah, it's a really exciting time ahead waiting for us. This embodied voice as well that identifies itself as Vox, addressing the group and calling them blanks and stating one amongst them that is destined to become the fabled warrior of light, codes that will probably be the player who will save the world. So yeah, it is really exciting. You can play the game in kanji or you can play it in the English version as well, and I did actually enjoy playing it in 2 different languages, and for this video I just put the English version, as you guys can see. And not to mention that this game was actually it was expected by a lot of gamers, and actually we received a lot of tweets yesterday from Kotaku and from the major gaming pages that the game has actually been released, and the traffic of downloading this app from iOS and Android has skyrocketed actually today. So if you check on the website, so you can see that. So yeah, so this was Serenity here, guys. This is my little review about Final Fantasy's newest edition for iOS and Android, Mobius Final Fantasy, and I give it a positive point from my side. So check it out. You might like it. Thank you very much for listening. Speak to you soon. Bye.